Hello, beautiful people. Okay, so today I want to tackle the question in a twin flame relationship. What do you do when your twin has blocked you? You know, God forbid that they block you and stop all communication. When they ghost you, when they completely reject you, when they walk away, when they get involved in other relationships, when they get married. How do you deal with this? What is the best way to deal with this? So, before we go any further, I want to direct you to this link, loveastrology.thunderwizard.com. I created this specific Vedic astrological reading, which the great thing about Vedic astrology is that it is so in depth you can actually see in that your astrology reading, you can see whether or not somebody is truly a twin flame, whether if you're going to have karmic connections. I can take a look and see how many karmic marriages you might have, how many soulmates you'll have, and what the relationship will be like. If you've already had, like, let's say you've been married and divorced, it'll be there in your chart. And I can, many times I've said, this happened when you got together, it was because of this, and the marriage fell apart because of lack of love, or there was infidelity. I'll be able to pinpoint it. It's not me, it's right there in the chart. So go to loveastrology.thunderwizard.com. This can be very helpful for you if you're on that path and you're struggling. I'm very serious about that. This is very helpful in terms of learning what to do in terms of current relationships and any past and or future relationships. I can help you with that. So now I want to switch gears. Those of you who know me know what it means when I say that. I'm going to switch gears here, and I want to talk to you about what do you do? What do you do when your twin has run? It's usually the divine masculine, because as we know, the divine masculine is not fully conscious of his or her divine connection, is not conscious of the divine purpose of their relationship with you. And so if they're not ready, if they're not consciously ready for their connection, or if you're not consciously ready to fulfill your divine purpose, then when the two of you come together, it's going to be very intense. It might even appear in the physical as being a dysfunctional, codependent, unhealthy relationship. But that's only to the untrained eye who doesn't know how to tell the difference between a karmic soulmate, which will, every time a karmic soulmate, you'll work things out, but it'll always be, there will be something missing. It'll be codependent. It won't be the same thing like a divine twin connection. But it takes a trained eye to see the difference between codependent, narcissistic, dysfunctional relationship and a true twin flame. Remember, a twin flame relationship has a much greater purpose than just two people coming together in the physical and having a relationship. It has to do with the evolution of the world, that your purpose is very important. So you have to be doing this work on yourself, like doing a lot of tarot readings, make sure that you're constantly getting advice from intuitives who can intuit into the universe. Some people call them psychics, but they're intuitive channelers. You have to get a lot of those to really stay on track. So I want to talk to you about that. What happens when the person that you know, because only your heart knows the truth, you know that this person is your divine twin? What do you do when they have they've run away from the intensity of the truth of their connection with you, but they've blocked you? What do you do? There's a lot of really good resources here on YouTube. I won't mention the woman's name, but I found somebody who is an expert in twin flames, and I like to study, so I was studying what she had to say about this very subject. And she says very clearly, she's a channeler, and she is a divine intuitive, and she herself is a twin flame awaiting reunion, as she puts it. So she understands this on multiple levels. And she said that if you're connected to your twin and you know it, because you will know, your emotions, your heart knows the truth, that if you know it and they bolt and they run and they block you. That even if they've said, and she's very clear about this, she says, even if they have said, I want nothing to do with you, I never want to see you again, and they say all these horrible things, that sound very permanent. She says, don't let that get you down. Always remember that they are your twin and that you can go inward and do your own personal work, which is great, but don't let go of that connection. Make sure that you do your work on the fifth dimensional level. And she talks about giving readings to people, which I think is very helpful. Helps, her readings obviously help people stay in the mindset. Even when their divine twin has told them, leave me alone, do not ever talk to me again, I want nothing to do with you, I'm blocking you. Even with that, she's encouraging people to continue with the understanding that there is this divine twin flame connection. Now, somebody who didn't understand what the divine twin flame connection is, they might say that that's a really irresponsible, destructive thing to do to somebody. That the responsible thing to do would be to tell them, hey, look, it's been a year. And some of these people, it's been a year, 2 years, and they're still, trying to connect to their divine masculine who has run away and gotten married in some cases. Somebody might say that was a really destructive, irresponsible thing to do, to keep telling people to chase after somebody who has told you, leave me alone, never talk to me again. But they don't understand. They don't understand the twin flame connection. So I found this very helpful to read the comments of her followers. And it's obvious why she's so successful, because she's been obviously very helpful to these people. And you can hear in the comments how much better their lives have been because they've been on this, become aware of the twin flame journey and understood it, and how much peace it's given to them. You can hear it in the comments, so I'll share this with you. So and interestingly, they're mostly women. And that would make sense because the divine masculine is usually born physically a male. Not always, but most of the time. And so the divine masculine is going to run. So we're going to see this reflected in the physical too. So this woman says, I've been blocked for about 8 months. It has gotten me more focused on myself. Well, good for her. And what really matters. I miss him every day. He is with me always, though. Good for her. She's, holding on to it. This has been going on for 8 months now. And she's still thinking about him and still keeping the twin flame connection alive, even though, he's blocked her. And it's because of his, as this woman says in the video, she says, they blocking you because of the connection. And she says something very interesting. She says that the fact that these people are blocking you is proof that what you're feeling is real, that they are in fact your twin flame. It seems ironic, the person that you're supposed to be with, that is your other half, has in fact blocked you and said, never talk to me again. That's ironic, but it really shows the truth. Again, a psychologist who doesn't understand the spiritual might say that this is just denial and you're looking for reasons to justify an unhealthy obsession with somebody. But if you've ever had a twin flame experience, that's not the case because your feelings know. And she even says, this woman, she says, listen to your feelings because your feelings are what really matter. Again, a psychologist is going to say something like, well, that's your narcissism talking. And, this is your narcissism and your denial and your selfishness. And you're simply projecting that onto your partner when actually the kind thing to do and the mature thing to do is to accept them at their word when they say, I never want to see you again. But again, these are psychologists. They're dealing in the 3-dimensional. They're not in the 5th dimensional, so they don't understand. So there's more. There's more. It says, this woman says, quote, it'll come back like it always does because Earth is round and so is love. And she says that's a line from a poem she wrote after, quote, separation the first time. And then she says, I can attest they do come back. So good for her. Her twin flame came back. Lucky for him, he woke up. This next woman says, I think I'm going mad sometimes, honestly. I've walked away. When he keeps telling me he's not ready and doesn't want it, then you gotta believe it. He didn't block me, but stopped following me, I guess, on Facebook because of his karmic. Well, the karmic is a soulmate. It's not a twin flame. And we call it a karmic because you're not really brought together because of this true, oneness and connection. It's because of some evil deeds that you've done, and you owe them a debt, they owe you a debt. So you have to work through the karmic debt. And that comes in this illusion in the physical of a marriage or a relationship. So, it's not a true twin flame connection. So it's good to know that when your twin has left you and said, I never want to see you again, please stop contacting me, and has gone off and maybe even gotten married, it's important for you to understand that relationship is not real. It's a karmic illusion. It's not the real thing. Nothing we can do about it. But it's important to remember that your relationship with them is better, and you got to keep it going on the fifth dimension so that when he's ready, he'll come back. As we've seen, they come back. So she says, I couldn't resist looking at his page and seeing him post pics of his karmic and how happy he is and how much he loves her. Yeah, so, again, a psychologist would say, why are you torturing yourself? This is clearly self-damage you're doing in your obsession and in your denial. Why would you want to torture yourself? And that's a clear sign he's not connected to you. But we know better. Those of us who have that feeling, that intense feeling that some people mistake for obsession. It's an intense, unless you have it, you don't know what, you can't understand what it's like unless you have it. He didn't block me, but stopped following me because of his karmic. Had enough. Honestly, it's exhausting. When you can't think of anything else, it's so unhealthy. Now, she's starting to fall into the trap. This is, again, what a psychologist is going to say. It's going to say this obsession is unhealthy, but she's starting to lose, and I'm sure that this woman here would say to her, listen, no, don't forget that this is your twin. Reunion is coming. Don't forget that. Work on yourself. Be happy with yourself, but don't forget what this connection is. My life hasn't moved in over 18 months. My career at a standstill. I cannot do this anymore. Well, I feel for her. I hope that she listens to this woman on YouTube who will tell her to not give up, and maybe you'll go through some challenging periods. 18 months, that's not in the, how long are you alive? 70 years, 18 months isn't that long. Again, people who don't understand are going to tell you 18 months, my God, what the hell is wrong with you? Let go of it already. He doesn't want you. Wake up. But we know different. Anyway, I don't need to go on with that. All right, this other woman says, I recently blocked mine because I couldn't resist looking at his page and seeing him post pics. Oh, I already read that. Let's see. This guy, this is one of the few men. Most of them are women. This guy says, Jesus himself was a twin flame journey with Mary Magdalene. And that's beautiful. Some people would say that Jesus never existed, but no, if we understand the twin flame scenario, we know that this is real. And that Jesus himself was a twin flame. This woman says, I can relate. This whole experience is so bizarre, extreme, confusing, paranormal, painful, and inescapable. No matter what you try and do, this person is constantly on your mind. So here you've got a scenario. The person says, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. Get out of my life. I never want to see you again. But at the same time, they keep assaulting you with their spirit and the paranormal connection. It's just you can't get it out of your mind. They're doing it. They don't realize it on an unconscious level. They're keeping you connected to them because they have to. Again, a psychologist is going to say this is your delusion. This is your obsession, and the healthy thing to do is to accept them where they're at and know that this is going on within you. It's not them, but we know different. We know that it's a twin flame connection. It's like it said here. It's inescapable, bizarre, extreme, painful. That's the twin flame connection. Sometimes when you're not working on yourself, this is what it's like. Those who don't understand, say all kinds of horrible things, but we know what it really is. She goes on to say, the weird telepathic communication is unbelievably bizarre and anxiety causing. Now, again, somebody would say that this is codependent obsession. I know I've experienced that. As I think about it, I've been in relationships that were in fact quite destructive and unhealthy, and that's when I had those feelings. But if I think about it, that's really not a twin flame connection. That's something else. But it feels like that, and so it can be very confusing. He's with another love. It was a sudden end of communication. I'm okay with that. A psychologist would say that she's in denial because she says she's okay with it, but at the same time, she can't stop thinking about it. But we know different. She really is okay with it. She's doing the spiritual work and keeping, herself and her journey together. It gives me the space and serenity to get back on track. So she's obviously working on it alone, which is the healthy thing to do. Don't heal past that, because you can't heal past a twin flame connection. Don't find love and find somebody who actually wants to be there with you and give back to you, because that'll just create a karmic connection that will keep you from your twin flame. You're better off being alone and pining and suffering in silence than to actually let go of that and get into a relationship with somebody who loves you. So good for her. And if she keeps watching this woman's channel, she'll continue to be given very good advice to not forget and not let go, and to realize this is real and that your feelings are what's real here, not what's happening in the physical. The physical, we're spiritual beings, those of us who are divine feminine. We're more spiritually connected, and so that's where we live. Our reality is in the spiritual. The physical world, yes, that's part of it, but that's just this is really, as the Gnostics teach, this is the evil level of reality. And so even a lot of things happening in the physical are not really what's important. What's important is what's happening in the spiritual. Again, a psychologist is going to say, that's just living in your delusion, and that's very unhealthy. And, like one of these women said, they can't function, they can't work. But we know different. We know what this really is. Here's one. She says, interestingly enough, her letters are FU. Interesting. She says, yes, I block him when I'm feeling angry, frustrated, so I don't abuse him. When I'm feeling calm, I unblock him. So that's interesting. She's still got a connection with her twin flame. Bear in mind, this is the other half of her soul. That is her soul. That is her truest love, the deepest, most truest love. And you can see it's creating some fun intensity where she blocks him and unblocks him. She abuses him and doesn't abuse him. And so they've, some people would say this is just a really crazy, psycho, codependent, abusive relationship. But we know better. We know this is twin flame. I could go on and on. I mean, you should see these things. They just go on and on. I blocked my twin, not because of him, but because I know I need to totally disconnect and start focusing on me. I felt horrible before doing it, because once I accepted inside that he is my twin, I asked the universe for a specific sign 3 times, and over 3 days I saw all 3 signs in the specified amount of time. And then he blocked me again, and then he blocked me on Instagram, and then he blocked me on Facebook. And why is he blocking me? I mean, that's the nature of the twin flame relationship. And again, I could just keep going. There's so many really wonderful, revealing comments of what the true nature of the twin flame connection is. Do I need to say any more? Do I need to say any more? Look, if you want to find out if you have a twin flame connection, which is something that is real, I've experienced it. It's not what these people are saying. But I don't make the distinction between a twin flame and a soulmate. There are multiple soulmates. But the idea is that, if you really have connected with somebody on that level, guess what? The relationship is going to be a human relationship. There's going to be ups and downs, but you're not going to have this kind of craziness. What do you do when your twin flame has blocked you and said, I never want to talk to you again? And this has gone for months and years? You accept the reality that you are obsessed and you need to look at your issues. Not that you need to wait around and pine for something that's obviously never going to happen. What do you do when they've got married and they have kids? You stop trying to contact them. You get on with your life. You get help and you find somebody who will actually be there and love you back. That's what you do. Okay, loveastrology.thunderwizard.com. If you want to take a look at your current relationship, I'll show you from your astrological chart what has brought you together and what can keep you together. I'll show you in the chart if there are issues and what issues to look for and remedies that you can use to keep the relationship going. If you've had past relationships that have failed, like if you have a twin flame and he has told you, I never want to see you again, and he's blocked you, I can see in your chart why that happened. And I guarantee you if that has happened, there's a 99% chance this is not your twin flame. Time for you to find love. Find love again. There's no reason why you can't be with somebody, even if it's a karmic, who will love you back. As people are saying here, they're talking about their twin who has blocked them, and it's tearing them up because they see their twin on Instagram and Facebook talking about how in love they are with somebody else. Why aren't you allowing that into your life? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to have love? It might be a good idea to drop this whole twin flame nonsense and just be a human. You know, maybe take a look at what your issues are that keep you chasing after somebody that doesn't want you. Okay? All right. Had a little fun with this today. Hopefully I haven't offended anybody. Loveastrology.thunderwizard.com. Go take a look at that. If you want to see all of my books, all of my DVDs, all of my other services, you can go to, where is it? You can go to thunderwizard.com. You can also go here. You can take a look at courses.thunderwizard.com. That has all of my books, my DVDs, everything else. 50% off on all of my services, including astrology and intuitive readings, like rune readings. Okay? And go to thunderwizard.com. Go to thunderwizard.com. I have it up there. Go to thunderwizard.com if you want to take the course, in my subscription course, on the divine union of masculine and feminine. Listen, I didn't get into it here, but the truth is that what you're being told about the masculine and the feminine in this twin flame idea is completely, totally skewed according to traditional spiritual understanding. Actually, the whole idea of the twin flame as it's being taught, the divine masculine and the divine feminine and the conscious and the more or less spiritual, is completely wrong. It's demeaning both the masculine and the feminine. The union of masculine and feminine is one of the most important things we need to experience in order to grow spiritually. So for that, you can go to thunderwizard.com, scroll down on the right, and subscribe to the divine union of masculine and feminine. All right, I'll leave it at that. Again, I was having a little fun. And that's it. I'll see you guys later. What am I looking for? I don't know what I'm looking for. Let's try this. Wait, hang on. I am looking for this.